Hello and welcome everybody to our kickoff webinar for the Summer School 2017. Transformation Dynamics is our topic. This is a 10-week program with a lot of free stuff and an extended program for learning modules, group coaching, tools, templates, tips and tricks. What is to expect from today's agenda? First, I'd like to walk you through the reason why we're talking about transformation dynamics or about transformation projects from a dynamic point of view. Then I would like to walk you through what to expect from this program during the next weeks. And I make an introduction to the course roadmap, and I will tell you a little bit how you can participate. And then we will talk about an amazing discounting opportunity that you can participate in. And at the end, I will leave some time for a Q&A. So this should take the main part around 30 minutes at most, and then we have some time for a live Q&A. And just to let you know, we will repeat this first live session a few times during this week. So if you're watching this as a replay later on when we make this available, and you would like to attend a live session because for a specific reason, which I'm telling you in just a moment, then please sign up for the live webinar sessions. By the end of this course, you should be able to plan and lead and conduct better transformation projects and drive for the success that you are aspiring. And altogether, this course should give you some new ideas and insights and a different mindset in setting up and running transformation projects. Also, I'm pretty sure that you will get some pretty new ideas. Some of the ideas may be counterintuitive. And then through the course, we will also do some business simulations. And then you will see why these ideas are actually not so bad and how they can play out in the long run. And finally, if you are in the process of preparing for a new budget cycle, like many of the companies do right now, or let's say after the summer vacation season, then this course is right for you and right at the right moment. My name is Thomas Wittig, and I am the CEO and founder of WITTIGONIA. And you can reach me, for example, with these Twitter IDs. Let's talk a little bit about why transformation dynamics. So first of all, when we talk about transformation, that usually involves from a digital and business perspective, many areas. Most importantly, of course, the customers. And many companies are starting now and setting out with a customer-centric mindset and the design thinking approach. So this is very welcome, of course, from every angle. But also we need to think about how to develop new products and services that the market is looking for, or maybe the market doesn't even know yet that they're looking for it. And so how do we introduce them into the market? And of course, nothing happens without people. So we need to mobilize and engage our employees and the stakeholders, and some companies have an entire ecosystem. So the question is, what are the dynamics there and how can that impact our plans and how can we leverage that effectively? And then something that is often forgotten when you go into a digitalization effort or a digital business from a very traditional business, it could have a fundamental impact on your supply chain. So when the supply chain meets, for example, a business which is driven by social media and social uptake, that can have a dramatic impact on your ability to produce, store goods and distribute it to the outlets. And of course, we need to take a look at the marketplace. So here we talk about sales and marketing efforts. And of course, when we talk about digital transformation and business models, then we have to talk about digital marketing and what we need to do also from a sales perspective. Now, this is pretty much how we laid out this course. So there are different areas that we will cover, which includes top level, of course, the strategy leadership. So how to go about initiating and also leading transformation initiatives. This is oftentimes easier said than done. And I will, throughout the course, I will give some anecdotes and some war stories from my personal experience when I led also very large scale transformation projects throughout my time. And then we will talk about project dynamics in the area of development. We will talk about organizational dynamics, both from an engagement and mobilization perspective, but also from an organizational development perspective, because in this brave new world of the digital economy, we need to think a little bit different how we set up our teams and organizations for success. We will cover quite a little bit about the supply chain, and I will put a special emphasis on winning in the marketplace. And there's a certain reason why I like this topic very much. We will come to that in a second. And last but not least, the dynamics of customer success. And by customer success, I'm including everything that has to do with service, pre-sales, also pre-sales technical efforts, and really getting the customers up and running and productive and profitable, of course, for our venture, for our company. So when we take these things together, each one of these areas has an own dynamic in itself. But taken together, these areas of organization, marketplace, product development, they interact with each other in a very distinct way. And that creates complex feedback structures, which then in turn create what we call a nonlinear and non-intuitive effect and impact. So, for example, you could do a good job in developing a great product, but then you realize that the market's maybe not even interested in it, or it's so interested in it that you cannot keep up with the demand. And so that, of course, has ripple effects through this entire system here. And we will go into these linkages in more detail. And behind each one of these sectors, for example, organization or market, we will be working and looking at very specific simulation models, which help us understand how our strategies and tactics will play out in the long run. So it's like a laboratory, and you can experiment with it, or we will together run some simulations and experiment with it so that we can get a better feeling of what is happening. Now, in the normal business, day-to-day business, what we find from our research and also working with clients who come to us, as we see a lot of transformation projects which fail. And the portion of failing projects is still very high, way too high. We estimate that it's at least around 60 to 80% of projects which have to be abandoned or restarted or turned around or de-escalated in a certain way. And what we find is that it typically comes down to exact these areas, most importantly, product adoption and development areas. It's not so much about the technology or the funding. And here we're talking about transformation projects in the corporate world, of course. When I look at the startups, and I worked with plenty of startups over the past years, many years actually, and there it's a well-known fact that about 90% of the startups do not make it; they fail. And again, if we take a look into that, and we did some studies actually in these areas with our insights unit, we found that here even more. The product adoption is the key contributing factor. So the misjudgment of the time it takes, the available market and the resources which you need to have. There is a misjudgment of the actual product market fit. So is there somebody out there who would actually not only test our product, but eventually purchase the product? And the third factor is it's all about resource allocation. That means having the right, for example, the right people at the right time in the right place, having the right ecosystem partners in the right place, allocating the marketing funds to the right strategies at the exact right time. Otherwise, your product adoption will not succeed. So this is what we are going to look at. Now, to conclude and make an interim statement here, it's not about the money, and it's really not about the technology. I know we all love new technologies, and we have a great abundance of new technologies. Think about cloud, mobile, machine learning, Internet of Things. There are plenty of great things out there, but we really need to take a look at it from a different perspective if we want to make the transformation projects work. This led us to develop a framework, and the framework includes these areas from project dynamics, adoption dynamics, supply chain, etc. They are all impacting what's happening in the transformation projects. In this, let's call it the wheel of fortune in transformation. Let's take an example, a general example. Let's take a service-oriented company which has, let's say, a fairly straightforward business model, as it seems. You have your customers, and you have orders from the customers coming in, and then you have the staff delivering against these orders. So you have some delivery, goes back to the customers, and the more you actually deliver, the more they are going to order from you in the long run. Now, in the digitalized world and business model, so you add digital products to it, or processes or services, first of all, you have to develop the services. And oftentimes that takes a portion of your staff because you want to, let's say, leverage the knowledge and the expertise of your most experienced people. So that takes away from your delivery capacity, which then turns this big cycle here a little bit into a trouble. But also once you have developed the products, you need to bring them out in the marketplace, which again takes time and effort from your staff. And you will, in most cases, depend also from a favorable word of mouth. So these are many new feedback loops which are governing the new system, the new business system that you look into. And now what typically happens when we talk about project dynamics, what do we mean by that? Let's take a very general example. You plan out something and you say it has a certain budget that we're willing to spend, and we have mapped out a great plan, and we think it's going to stop here. But what we see very often, and you hear this again and again, that the projects are running over budget and way over schedule. And there's a certain reason to that. So in this learning experience, we will dive into that, and I'm going to walk you through why these feedback loops work and what they are actually doing to your projects. So how this articulates itself is something like this. So while this would be your plan, you see that your project and product development effort is slipping over time. And so at the end of the day, you're not running significantly behind, but typically you have spent a lot of more money. And if really worse things happen, then it takes so long that you can basically delete the whole project or restart the whole project because the market has run away and you are left behind with an obsolete product. Now, think about when you go into the marketplace, and now we cover a little bit of these famous S-curves. What I have actually observed in our practice and working with customers and innovators and entrepreneurs, most people would like to have this let's say this accelerating growth curve, the S growth curve. But if I asked people, for example, doing startup competitions, but also doing corporate project reviews, how do you come up with this hockey stick forecast? Then few people really know what's behind it. So you really need to understand what are the feedback structures, the feedback loops in play, and how to leverage it. And as a result, what often happens is takes too long, and then we see an overshoot and collapse. So a little bit, let's say, more dramatic in some cases than I can show here. So again, these are areas, and these are two outputs here that we brought forward from a simulation model that we will work with throughout this course. A very neat model that we can use to better understand what's happening and how we can drive our strategies. Organization dynamics, same thing. You have maybe a large organization, and when we say large organizations, this could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people, but also 50 or 100,000 people. And the very large organizations I work with, they have much different challenges because of the sheer size of the organization. So what typically happens is that management thinks, okay, we're going to roll out the program, and by the end of the year, we should be pretty much done before we go into the next fiscal year. So that would be the green curve here. But again, oftentimes what happens is takes much longer, and then at some point in time, there is a breaking point, and then the organization is slowly disengaging. And this happens often when, for example, something happens in the marketplace. The product doesn't have a success, or let's say a competitor comes up, people lose faith in the product, and then they are being showered with change initiatives and marketing-oriented slogans and whatnot. And this could, at worst case, create a downward spiral for your organization in terms of the impact on morale, retention, and productivity. So another key area that we want to look at. Now, I just wanted to point out these three areas, but really what it comes down to is thinking about transformation and acting in this new context requires a new mindset, a new skill set, and new behaviors, which I would like to summarize as system leadership skills and a tool set that we need to develop. So that's what this course is all about. And again, these are the areas, and let me walk you through what this course actually is going to do in the next 10 weeks. So we said we're going to have a 10-week program. Now this week doesn't count because we're kicking off the whole program. So again, if you want to replay or attend another live session, you're welcome to do it. And we will talk about some key concepts, the framework of the simulation, etc. And then what you would see is we have basically 2 rounds. So we do strategy development, adoption, organization, customer success, and then we do another round again, where we pick up different topics. And this should give us enough food for thought and enough tools and templates under our belt to craft a better transformation plan again. Now, one disclaimer, of course, this is not a coding camp, so I'm not going to walk you through coding exercises. If somebody's interested in the mechanics of the simulation models, I'd be happy to throw in a bonus session, and I will walk you through it, and we can do even more interesting simulations. That typically happens once we get started with this work. People get so excited that they say, okay, can I do this? Can we do that? I have this situation. Can we throw that into the model? No problem, we can do it. So we have 10 weeks time, and there should be plenty of wiggle room to do that. Again, the special focus of this training is about the dynamics of change. It's not so much about the nuts and bolts. So it assumes that you all have heard about transformation projects and you have managed projects. You know your trade, basically. You know your functional area. This is more about the system dynamics that are in place. So all strategies and tactics and execution is a matter of change over time and of the right allocation of resources. So that's what we are talking about. And that will be a key ingredient for your next moves that you're going to make. So what will happen? Let's go a little bit more into detail. So what will happen is each week we're going to have some bunch of free content. So each week we're going to host a live webinar with a Q&A, pretty much like we do today. Should take about 30 minutes at most, so we don't want to overwhelm everybody, plus some Q&A time. Q&A time typically can be continued in our discussion groups or the Facebook group that we have set up for this. And in each week's live webinar session, there will be a discount opportunity for the extended material that we have available. But also, we are going to capture the live webinars. So if you miss a webinar, no problem. You can watch it anytime. It will be available on the YouTube channel and also published in the Facebook group. So if you're more a Facebook person, then you will be notified there. Now, in addition to the free content, we have additional material, which we cannot cover in 30 minutes in a webinar. And this is also a premium area that we have. So there we will cover the strategies, the business simulations in more detail, and there you can also download the tools and templates. And most importantly, this will be the group coaching platform. So if you have thoughts, feedback, questions, then we will cover this typically in the discussion forums. And there will be a bunch of bonus content and even courses that we bundle into this area. Again, this is an extended area on top of the free context. Now, let me give you 2 examples. So you might wonder, okay, what exactly would we cover in terms of topics? Let's, for example, the plan is here for week 4, just picking up this one here. It's about go-to-market and launch activities. We're going to talk about that in more detail. And here we talk in the live webinar in how to plan and prepare launch activities and how to test the market very early at lowest possible cost. So I give you some ideas how to do that. And sorry, one step back. In the extended sections for the week, we will talk about launching or simulating the launch activity. So, for example, we will simulate what does it mean to have an early adopter scenario. How does it accelerate or propel your installed base? How to work with influencers and the famous chicken and egg problem. So, what you do if you don't have customers, and then if you don't have customers, you cannot monetize your solution, which means you basically could get stuck. And these kind of things. So another example, week 5, where we talk about more organizational topics. Here we talk about similar general topics like in the webinar. And typically I throw in some simulation examples so that you get a feeling of what we're covering here. And we talk about how to engage an organization, how to organize a transformation office, for example. And again, we do some simulation. So what would happen to our initiative if the organization is not engaging? Or what happens if we deploy certain, let's say, engagement programs to get going? So this will be an example. And again, keep in mind the key areas are strategy, development, organization, supply chain, market, and customer success. So we will pick from these areas each week a certain topic and then do a deep dive. Now, question, how does the famous discount down actually work? So I mentioned it now several times, so I owe you an answer for that. So remember, there's a free content and there's an extended content, which is a fee-based program. Now, the webinars are really important in the context because we will do a very special discount program, an amazing one, actually a crazy one, I should say, which offers you the access to the content program. And this will be going on for the 10 weeks. Just to let you know, at the end of these 10 weeks, we will do more rounds with this public course, and it will be priced somewhere in the range of 1,010, or so the 1010 pricing comes in here, or maybe even higher. Could be that we actually price it higher. But for the purpose of this course, this is actually what is happening. While the value of the program is increasing week by week, so it will be enriched with new content, which we're going to publish step by step, right? Based on the agenda and also based on your feedback, of course. Now, at the same time, we're giving you these amazing discounting opportunities. So that means we start with a really 100%. So if you attend this first week, one of the live sessions, then you can actually participate in the discount opportunity, which will happen now here shortly. I should also say that after the 10 weeks, the content will be available for another 3 months. So that's the plan. Maybe we extend that a little bit, but that should give you plenty of time to dive into this. So what does it mean for you today? That means that today and for the next couple of webinars this week, we are offering literally a 100% discount, so a free access even to the premium material. So if you sign up this week in one of our live sessions, and keep in mind this is only available in the live sessions, then you can actually gain access to the premium content. So that is an amazing offer, and while we talk about it, we will bring up this offer, and it will be available for the remainder of the course here. But again, you can only register for the premium opportunity if you participate through the live webinar. So if you're watching this later on the YouTube channel, make sure that you sign up for the next session this week. But from there, it's not over because it will go on. So the next day, it will be 90% discount, 80, 70, and so on. So the question is, if you have the extended program and let's say you don't like it, what would happen? No problem, no risk involved. There's 30-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. You just cancel the program and that's it. And by the way, this is only the one-time purchase, so it's pretty straightforward. We would love to have you for the whole program, but if this is really not for you, then no problem at all. What if I can't attend a session? No problem, no worries. All the replays you can watch later on. All you can eat, all you can watch during the availability of the program, which will be the 10 weeks and the 3 months thereafter. So no problem. And you might ask, okay, wow, 100% discount. So can I invite my whole team? Let's say you're a team manager, you're a department manager. You say, I want everybody to participate. It's such a great opportunity. Can my colleagues join too? The answer is yes, yes, and yes, but it's only this week and it's only in the live webinar. So everybody on your team needs to sign up through the live webinar this week. No problem with that. Now, if you miss this week, again, keep in mind, this week is free access to the entire premium content for the rest of the course. If you miss it this week, then the next week will be a 90% discounted opportunity, and then 80, 70, and so on. So how does it work? How do you get access to the course? So basically, let me, in all fairness, tell you, again, the webinars are key. If you missed something, go to the YouTube channel. Here's the URL. Just type in WITTIGONIA and in YouTube, you'll find it. And there you also see when we are going live with our sessions. Also, you can, let's say, access some of the replays via our Facebook page. That's Dynamics of Transformation. So you can actually look into this here. Now, if you participate, if you go for the extended content, here's what you do. You go to academywittigonia.com or click on the link in the YouTube session. And there you see the course here. It's called Digital and Business Transformation Dynamics. Note that there are two courses. One is a briefing center, which is still open, but it's, let's say, just a briefing center. It's not a training class. But you go in here, and then as a next step, you see this page. You scroll down on this page, and then you will see here, join the free webinar. Enter this button here, press the button for register now, and then it brings you to the registration. Pretty straightforward. Here you see all the dates. We might actually move some of the dates a little bit depending on the audience that's coming. Again, keep in mind, this is a worldwide participation, so we will have people from different areas. And by the way, if you are attending in the live webinar now, there is a little poll, and I would ask you to participate in the poll because it gives us a better feeling from where you are watching. Of course, we can take a look at our analytics, but we'd like to hear it straight from you. What is your preference? So there you register. So you go on the registration button. Very simple. You just enter your first name and email address. Pick the first session or the next session that is on display here, and you're all set. Now, this is an important point. I want to give you a tip here. So if you go to, this is the registration page. When you come up here, there's an option which says, yes, subscribe me. So that means that you're automatically subscribed to all future webinars, right? So that is your opportunity to participate in all the upcoming webinars during the 10 weeks program. So I'd highly recommend you do that, because what it does, you get automatic notifications and also all the links with the replays. So that's the idea. After that, you're all set. You will receive the notifications, click on the links, kick back, relax, watch wherever you are, on the beach, in your room, couch, office, or if you want to watch this doing lunch meetings with your team, all great. And hopefully also engage, and most importantly, enjoy. Now, again, can't stress this enough. Within the webinars, there is the live discount opportunity, and it's only available in the live webinar. We can't do it any other way. So if you want to get access to highly discounted access to the premium material as it comes alive, this is the way to do it. If you get stuck, if you have any inquiries, use the discussion forums in the course, or send email to this email address here. Now, that's pretty much it for today. And yes, so that's the Q&A. Let's take a look at who has submitted some questions here in the live Q&A. I need to switch here a little bit so that I can see what's coming in. So there's a first question coming in from the audience, and that is, can we participate with our entire company in this program, or do we need to request a separate session? Now, of course, you can participate in the public program, so that is actually highly recommended. Again, there's only one thing to consider. If you have, let's say, a large team, you want everybody to attend, everybody needs to sign up for the webinar, and that way we can make sure that every person gets their personal link with the session, etc. If you want everybody to participate in the premium content, and you're looking for, let's say, a volume pricing, please contact us. By all means, we will be there to help you. Okay. So here's a question. Summer vacation period is coming up. It's great that I can participate. I'll definitely do this from the pool, but what if I can attend several sessions? No problem at all. As I mentioned before, it's all available via replay, so you can watch it at any time. And by the way, we're going to make these sessions and also the extended video briefings available as bite-sized modules. So the video sessions then would be, let's say, I typically do like 5 to 10 minute short concept sessions and briefings, and then showcase some of the tools, and then you can decide if this is a tool that you want to use or a template you want to download, and then that's up to you. So it will be available when you come back from your time off. You can download all the stuff and start working with it. Then here's a question: will there be a live opportunity? Now, I guess by live you either mean the webinar or really a live session. So the webinars are live. I'm going to take live questions from everybody. So it's an AMA, Ask Me Anything webinar every week. But here's the thing: we're also planning a live roadshow. So the stations that we are looking at right now are in Europe. We're probably going to do a couple of those. So one definitely going to be in Zurich, and maybe one in Frankfurt or Berlin or Munich. Then in July, there's going to be, the plan is to have one in Boston, on the East Coast in the United States. So if you would like to participate or co-host a session or co-sponsor it, I'm very open to discuss, but the details will be published very shortly. So watch our main webpage, wittigonia.net. There on the homepage, you see all the events coming up. Then a little bit later, there will be a session most likely in Seattle. and another session in Vancouver. So that's pretty much where the plan is right now. And this should happen during the course of July. If you want to suggest another session somewhere else, I'd be open to consider that as well. But there's only so much time that we have. So let's see how we progress with the content and the live sessions, and then I'd be happy to fold in more. Okay, here's a question from a participant. Do I need to have programming knowledge? You might have joined a little bit later, so I will mention it again. No, there's no programming knowledge required. You can actually participate in this. This is not a programming class. This is also not really a modeling class where we do develop simulation models. The models are ready when we work with them, and it's more about using them for simulation purposes. You also don't have to use the models, so we're going to do some instant business simulations there, no problem. One thing I should say is the plan is for the live sessions that I mentioned. Again, these are planned for, let's say, Frankfurt, Berlin, Zurich, Boston, Seattle, Vancouver. The plan is also to offer there a half-day session with a multiplayer simulation experience, because this is all about a learning experience. And we have some great multiplayer game simulations, which we love to use in our work with corporate clients. For example, when it's about platform development or innovation management or global collaboration. So these come to play, and they're really awesome because you get not only a kick out of working with these, but you get a great learning experience. It's a much different learning, which really sticks with you, and it's very energizing for a lot of people. So that's the feedback that we receive. So again, if you're interested in that, along the roadshow, there's also here and there a little bit space for working with corporate teams. So if you're interested in that, please send us a note. Okay, yeah, then here's a question about, somebody says, okay, I logged in, can we request some additional sessions because they're not so convenient for my time zone here? So again, I would like to ask you to either send us email or participate in the polls in this week, so that we know in which time zones you are and from which time zones you're watching. There's no problem each and every week to fold in another session which is more convenient for everybody. Okay, but since this is our first iteration of this grants program, we just started with laying out, let's say, one session per week. But if there's need for more, then we can fold that in. Okay. So here's a question: is how do the simulations work? Now, the simulations are dynamic simulations. They simulate actually how, for example, the market or a supply chain or a development project is behaving from, let's say, a change over time perspective. So we've put together these simulation models, and they consist of different sectors, which we can use to take a closer look at the sector. For example, if we want to better understand why projects are running late or why they never see the daylight, then we need to take a look at the project dynamics. But it's also linked to other areas in the organization. So what we do there is we run a few simulation scenarios. And this helps us to understand how the different strategies and tactics are playing out over time. Okay. Now, technically speaking, these are system dynamics models. So they're not only, let's say, charts with arrows and feedback loops, but behind the simulation, there are mathematical models that we use actually to replicate how the actual world is behaving. Now, why are we doing that? It's much better. It's cheaper, much cheaper and better if you try this in a laboratory setting before you actually go and spend, for example, marketing dollars, or you send people in a direction. And sometimes, or oftentimes, we find that oh, okay, this is probably not such a good idea. So let's rethink our strategy and see how we can, let's say, deliver a project much better, or accelerate growth in the market, or make better use of our stakeholders' time and engage them in the project. Okay, so these are all the questions that we look at. And again, it's all about setting priorities and allocating resources and finding the right strategies that help you. Okay, so if you have further questions, I see that there are still some questions coming in. Again, please keep sending them. I think the webinar replay also has a functionality that you can actually send emails even from the webinar replay, which is cool. And so I'm looking forward to your feedback, and more importantly, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next sessions. So that was it for today. That was our kickoff webinar. Again, this will be repeated a few times this week in a live session. And keep in mind, only in the live session you are able to participate in the great discounting program, which again decreases over the course of the program. So this week it's literally 100%, so you can get an amazing, crazy discount to get access to the premium material. So with that, I wish you all happy transition projects, and again, looking forward to see you. This is Thomas Wittig from WITTIGONIA, and I wish you all good luck with your projects. Goodbye.